What's up, folks? Blaze Thompson back once again for Food Chart Fridays live, and it's been a while since I've gone live with Food Chart Fridays. I'm excited to be back because I've got to talk about the truth today. That is the topic of today's Food Chart Friday. What is Food Chart Friday? This is an opportunity for me to look and talk to you about things I see on the ground with clientele here at the gym, folks trying to manage that quest of the waistline, lose some weight, feel better, more comfortable in their skin. And the deal is the truth will set you free. We share a very basic 1, 2, 3 balanced approach to fitness. One day to plan and execute your food is number one for a reason, because it's most important, and that's the truth. 2 days a week of strength training as the minimum to get results, and 3 days a week of cardio. If you put those three together, you don't have to eat like a rabbit, become a bodybuilding world champion, or run freaking marathons to have a healthy body fat percentage, which is the number one indicator for overall health. You get that body fat percentage down, boom, everything else is going to come in line with it. Blood pressure, cholesterol, all those things, you'll start feeling better from the inside out. Do you like the hands? So today we're going to look at some charts as we usually do. Remember, this is just me sharing my experience and what I see with clients and little tweaks that can help you at home get better right now. And then we have a topic of the day, and the topic for this week is the truth. And the truth will set you free. We've heard that for years. And if it doesn't set your ass free, then it's going to make you damn miserable. And soon enough, you get your ass whipped bad enough that you'll do something different. I've got a lot of personal experience with this in my family history and my personal history, struggling with some addictions. And I've seen tons of people struggle with this stuff for food as well, because some people can't handle the truth. They're afraid to tell the truth. I can't tell you the number of people who come in to get fit and want to change their lifestyle. And we start to talk about food, and I ask them if they're willing to write down their food, and they'll tell me, no, I'll start that in a couple of weeks. And I really just want to smack them upside the face with a dose of reality, because you can't outwork a shitty diet. We've heard that stuff before, and it's a fact. You've got to be willing to surrender to the truth. And the best way you do that is by gaining some awareness and filling out these damn charts and telling yourself the truth, because a lot of times we don't even know what we're putting in. If I sit down with 10 people and ask them how their food is, 6 to 7 of them, about 6.5, are going to say, I eat pretty good. And then I'm going to ask them the basic questions. Well, what did you have for breakfast today? And most of them are going to go, didn't have breakfast today. And then I ask them, well, what did you have for dinner last night? And they'll say, well, wait a minute. Last night was a special occasion. We went out to get pasta last night. That's like what 6 of these fools say in a row. And then ask them, what'd you have for lunch yesterday? And they'll say, leftovers from the night before. Well, what was that? It was spaghetti, right? Or it was pizza. So the reality is, when we have to tell the truth and take a look at what we're really doing, boom, surprise, we're not following those basic directions. And one of those basic directions, get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have small little protein-based snacks in between, trying to limit those big-time calorically dense foods in your diet, and putting those in a wise way, right? I'm not a calorie counter. I don't start people off with that. I start people off with awareness first, write down the truth. And so that's the cool thing about these charts, is when you start putting everything down on the chart, eventually something changes. So we're going to go ahead and boom, jump right into the charts. And today, I want to show you this guy right off the bat. This is Dave. We talked about Dave a lot over the last couple of years. Dave has lost a ton of weight before. He's a big man. And, then he struggled. He had some struggles with cancer. He had throat cancer. He went out and he had to go through surgery, had to go through chemo and all those things, radiation. He took such damage in his throat that when he came back, he struggled with a lot of grief. He struggled with a lot of not feeling enough and wondering what was taken from him, kind of against his own orders there and against his will, and not being able to taste. And he's kind of justified some bad food behaviors over time, because I can't taste anything, so who gives a shit anyway? And he's just been eating tons of crap. And this is the best food chart that Dave has turned in like over a year and a half. He's really only got written down on the sheet, aside from missing some snacks, so let's just be blatant, but he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 5 big bad choices. This thing was covered with bad choices just a year ago. I mean, the dude was literally eating ice cream and Frosties every single night. And the cool thing for Dave is that he's been coming in taking care of the other ones. doing his strength training 2 days a week, getting his cardio in 3 days a week. And he's continued to write down the truth. And I've seen a major shift in his food. And over the last couple of weeks, he's been losing weight continuing to write it down. We had about 6 weeks where it kind of stayed. And then he lost a pound and a half. This week, he lost 3.5 pounds because he continues to write down the truth. And he got miserable enough from seeing all that crap and watching his weight do this and feeling his insides and being present. Because every time you stop and write down what you ate, that's an opportunity for you to get present in the moment and look at what you did and ask that question, why? Right? Am I getting the results I want out of this behavior? Because that's what these food choices are. A lot of times they are behaviors. If you're eating French fries every day, that's a behavior, right? That's not just what you're putting on paper, what you're shoving in your mouth, but it's a way you're treating yourself. It's a choice you're making. And over time, you want your behaviors to align with your values. If he's showing up to work out, he knows he cares about himself, and he keeps eating like shit, and he keeps looking at it, eventually something breaks, and we get a change, and we are beginning to see that, and it's beautiful. It really is. I'm super proud of him for moving in the right direction. I mean, this guy had fries and Frosties and milkshakes and, I hate to say it, but Hardee's for breakfast all the time, and he is down to tater tots one day in this week. Brother ate tater tots one time, and that's not bad. You get to have some things you like every once in a while. So what can we work on next for Dave? Let's start getting some protein-based snacks. You'll start to feel a little bit better, feel a little more full in between meals. You won't crave those bad foods quite so much. All right, so here's another person who was very willing, and I'm not going to say the name on this one, but I love her to death, and you can see that so she knows who she is if she's out there watching. This is another client who for quite some time refused to write things down, period. And this woman, when she works out hard, and she fucking sweats. She gets nasty. You got to clean it up afterwards. She just knows that's how it is. She's covered. But if she ain't eating right, she ain't losing weight, and that leads to this cycle of shame that she puts herself through too. So she gets the opportunity to put the bat down by picking the pencil up, writing down the truth, which, these food charts need some work, but now it can give her some baby steps to take moving forward. She's doing oatmeal for breakfast a lot of days. She's doing a Vega 1 protein bar as a snack. And some of her lunches are a little wonky. PB&J one day, Philly steak, meatball. She's missing snacks in the afternoon. And then she's having these very high value caloric meals for dinner because she's trying to make up the difference from all the exercise. She plays a lot of tennis that she does all day. So let's get some quick tips based on this chart and what we just heard. Number one, start your day off with protein. Oatmeal is a carb. It's got protein in it, but not a significant source. So let's get some eggs in there for breakfast. Let's get some veggies and maybe a little bit of fruit. And let's save oatmeal for a morning you got tennis, all right? And still put the protein and fruit with it. Snacks, I'm liking the vegan 1 bar. I'm okay with that, all right? Lunchtime, we need to get some consistency. I'd like to see a protein, a vegetable, and a possible rice or potato there, depending on what we chose for the rest of the day. But we got to start with protein and vegetable first. Afternoon snack, doesn't have one. Let's try to get one. And then for dinner, if we've been eating the protein consistently, making those easy choices, we'll be less likely to do some of the things I see on here. Let's keep it real. Vanilla ice cream with a Coke. Are we talking a float? From there, she had chicken and rice with sushi. Sushi's one of those things, like some people say, well, I had sushi last night. But sushi generally comes on a big old thing of rice, right? So I'll pronounce this wrong, sashimi. I like having just the fish. That's a great option when you go to sushi. But they fry all kinds of sushi. They make it crazy ways. I am a food taste explosion dude. I love lots of different flavors and tastes. So sushi can fuck me up sometimes if I eat too much. So you've got to be careful when you go to eat sushi. Try to do just the sashimi more often and watch that total caloric intake. And if you know you got a big sushi night coming, if you're going to get the boat, then be more mindful throughout the day. And if you're writing it down, you'll have an opportunity to be mindful. So I just listed a whole bunch of stuff she could have worked on this chart and done differently. So what I would like to propose is to pick one. That's the best way to do it. Over the course of the next week, what's one small thing she could work on? So let's get a choice here. We can try to add eggs at breakfast and back off on the oatmeal a little bit. We can try to get an afternoon snack pumping. We can prepare some 2-ounce chicken tenderloins. Go ahead and throw like 20 of them in the oven on 350 for 20 minutes and stick them in some Tupperware so they're ready to grab with maybe some sliced celery or chopped up celery or sliced cucumbers to go with it. You just pop the cucumbers, you crush one of those little chicken tenders, and boom, you move on with your day. You don't make love to it, you just get it done. I find that the majority of the answers for these things are very practical and very easy. We mostly have an attachment to our food, right? She's avoiding eating because it avoids having to be present. And then she's eating all this sugary stuff at the end of the day because that also takes her out of herself. So just make the good choice. I don't wake up in the morning and go, fuck yeah, spinach. I just reach in, I stick it in my mouth, I hammer it, and I move on. And I have it convenient and easy to do. And then I enjoy my dinner every night. We can talk about dinner because I love it. All right, let's go on to the next page. So she needs to pick one of those two, getting the protein snack or making an easy breakfast choice. And whichever one she's more likely to do is the one she picks. And that's all I'm worried about for the next week. You keep writing everything down, but I'm only going to harass you on the one that you didn't do. Or that you do. I'll give you a big hug either way, but I'll tell you congratulations if you follow through. So this is another client here. She gave me 2 weeks worth. She's got a lot of stuff going on these charts, but this is a person who'd been inactive. She had a baby. She wasn't eating correctly. She admittedly is a carbaholic, she calls herself. She also liked to drink wine. She was on that wine at night, and she wasn't exercising at all. So she started to work the 1, 2, 3. She put them all three together. She lost 4 pounds since last week. And let's keep it real. Healthy weight loss is a pound a week. 2 pounds a week is if you're really nailing it and following the directions. If you're losing more than that, you were probably busting some serious ass calories before we met and doing absolutely nothing. But she admitted that. So what's cool about these charts right off the bat, I don't see wine written on here anywhere. Usually that's a red flag. I'm like, dude, you were drinking a bunch of wine and now you're drinking any? Are you writing down the truth? That's question number one. But I believe she is because she lost this weight, right? Number two, she's really worked on getting protein at each meal. She's making sure to get snacks throughout the day. Some of her choices are a little off. She's got mozzarella cheese on here for snack. Generally 60% of the calories that are in cheese come from fat. My mama taught me that. Even when they say low fat, it's just a marketing ploy. They've played with the way the information is written on there. They may have dropped the total calories under a certain number, but you're still getting a high percentage of fat from cheese. It's not a great protein choice as a go-to move. Hey, I like cheese. I eat it every once in a while. I just don't make it my go-to every day. You know, I'm going to do a Greek yogurt. I'm going to do a couple of eggs with some celery, that piece of chicken we talked about. So for her, I would work on, she's doing some oatmeal at breakfast too. You see, we find patterns in these things. We hear oatmeal's a good choice. Our grandma taught us that back in 1950. But hey, it's 2018. We got a little better research right now. And we're eating a lot of heavy calorie dense foods later in the day. We know she's a dinner lady. We've had this conversation. So let's do some lower calorie, cleaner choices at breakfast, more vegetables, more fruit, some clean protein, and then let's go on through the day. So we're going to try to make a leaner choice for snack, but we're going to try to work on cleaning that breakfast up just a little bit. All right. But with this, I'm extremely proud of the truth and the fact that she started to do the other pieces of the puzzle too. And when you put those three together, it creates some real synergy. That looks pretty awesome on camera there. Watch out. So when you put those three together, 1, 2, 3, food, strength, and cardio, you're going to get some good results every single time. We're going to need to tighten that down the road, but it's a great start. So here we go. We're going to look at one last chart for the day. And this is a young man named Alex. He's a basketball player who's trying to gain weight. All right. Guess what? A lot of the rules for gaining weight are exactly the same. It sucks for people who are trying to lose weight to hear this, but it's true. This kid came in his first week and lost weight. So I was pissed and I chewed him out and I threatened him with eating boiled eggs at the beginning of his next session. Because I got a lot of people who are trying to lose weight that have to take calorically dense foods out, have to start working on their protein. And this kid's allowed to eat, right? He's supposed to eat every 3 hours. He gets protein and he gets to eat more carbs because the truth is basketball and swimming are two of the most demanding sports as in regards to the amount of calories that are put out during the time you're practicing and playing. So this man's got to eat. He's got to take a little extra protein and carb before practice and after just to make sure his weight goes up. And this guy gained weight this week. So the cool thing is, though, listen to this. The choices are very similar. At breakfast, he's doing eggs. He gets the oatmeal. He has strawberries, right? I would change that for someone trying to lose, and we'd just take the oatmeal out, and we'd add some vegetables to that omelet. We'd turn it into a veggie omelet, and we still have a little bit of fruit. He's doing protein bars and protein shakes for his morning and afternoon snacks. He's in high school, right? The deal is, though, people that work jobs can do the same thing. I'd like for you to choose real food first. However, when you're in a pinch, you got to have a go-to move that's easy. We've talked before about what to look for in your protein shakes and protein bars. If you got questions, ask them. I'll give you some guidelines right here. I want to know, I'm listening, what you need to know. I can read. So if you got a question, ask. But use those convenient options when you need to. And then at dinner, this is what I love the most. This kid is doing chicken, steak. One night he had eggs and spinach, steak tacos. In general, though, every night he ate a salad. He gets it, right? Because as an athlete, and all of us, we're the most finely tuned machines on the planet. No matter how you've been treating your machine for a little while, it's still that wonderfully made, finely tuned machine that's the most capable thing there is here on this earth. I mean, we are made of stardust, baby. And when you put in healthy choices like fruits and vegetables that are full of vitamins and minerals, they're going to help your body get better from the inside out. There's the hands again, and give you an opportunity to truly be well, which is what this is all about, you know. And that's where the truth really does set you free. And that's the last thing I'll say. If you know that you have a goal that you're trying to get to, and you're willing to write down the truth every 3 hours, because I stick with social norms. We're going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if we put little snacks, protein-based snacks in between, we're not going to be so hungry. This isn't a fad diet. I'm not trying to teach you something out of control. I'm just trying to get some consistency. The most important word in fitness is consistency. But when you start writing down that truth, you have an opportunity every 3 hours to look at it. And if you make a bad decision, it gives you a chance to sit still and say, okay, what's really going on? And do that deeper level of work that these food charts really are. It's an opportunity for you to look inside and care for yourself with an action step in a little bit better way than you used to. So get present with that. Let's all take a moment. I take care of myself because I love myself. With these food charts, we may not do it perfect, and we'll get to look at it. But the perfect thing is I get a chance to look at it. If I'm not firing arrows, then I'll never hit the target. And when you keep doing it over time, it's inevitable. Change is inevitable when you keep doing it. And my big man Dave is a very real example of that. I mean, he's been writing these things down for the past, I'd say 4 months now, and has finally made the turn. It takes what it takes for some of us, right? But I just can't say how proud I am. Every time that these food charts are on my desk, I want to make time to do these videos. And lately I haven't gotten an opportunity to do that because it's not rocket science. It's really pretty basic. But I know that you need help. I know we need somebody sometimes to correct our course a little bit. That's why we're on this planet together. So let's do this. We're going to be back on Food Chart Fridays live again. I'll give you an update before I do the next episode. I'd love to see your questions. I'd love to answer them. I want to know if you can handle the truth. I'll be happy to send you a food chart and help in any way I can. It's a rainy day, so walk in place if you need to, or come visit us at Prolific Park sometime. Otherwise, know that I'm here, know that I love you, and be well.